Are you a superhero to your kid?
Absolutely.
Not when your boss is in the room. What's best for your kids is to put your money into something, the stress, go through all of it, so when your child becomes a man, he doesn't have to work for nobody.
Right, well, that's the
you
whole
can
thing.
just pass it to him. Can another man say you're fired?
Absolutely.
No one can tell me that. That's priceless.
But
Do you think your son enjoys you calling somebody else a boss? Don't you think your son would rather wake up with you and you could pick him up from school instead of having to do a 9 to 5? Don't you think your son would love if his name was up there? I taught my son never to have a boss. He's 23. He owns a restaurant. He has cookies. He has equity. He busts his ass so he can pass it on to his son. If that's not what you're hustling for, you're selfish. You keep saying I'm worried about my kids. You worried about you. My kids, you enjoy the safety and the security of a job every day. But there's no pride in that to me. But when you do something that's for yourself and your family, it never feels like work. I hustle for my last name. I don't hustle for my first.
People think it's safe to have a job, but if somebody can fire you, how is that safe?
Right.
Period. Like, you got to be nice to somebody. If they don't like you, they can fire you. And the people that can fire you don't be owning the shit either. They be supervisors. So then it becomes like political. There's no politics when you're the boss. It's my way or no way.
Yeah, because I believe that. You see that at any point, no matter how much you contribute, that whole thing can be taken away at any particular time.
Right.
So how does somebody then go and just make that shift to
The same shit
taking
they're doing for
ownership?
somebody else, do it for yourself.
Right.
It takes fearlessness to be first, to not move with a crowd, to move alone, and you get scrutinized by people that do move with a crowd because they got to make you look bad to make themselves look good. It's all part of the game.
Yeah. Corporate is a facade. Right. It's not yours. You can't give it to nobody. You can't give it to your family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A true man wants to make his life easier for his children, not himself. Right? So I can just have a job where I get fired or I die. I'm done. My kids don't get it. I'm gonna hustle for a pension. Hell nah. And the company sell, I don't get nothing. What you working for if it's not yours? How hard you gonna really work for it if you don't own it? Think about it. You're working for a paycheck. You're going to do the least amount of work as possible unless you really believe there's a future in it.
It'd be people that have no plan, that aren't doing anything, are the most distracting.
Right.
They're the ones that speak the loudest because if you're doing something, you don't have time to be worried about somebody else.
Right.
You don't have time for jealousy if you're doing something. You're too tired doing what you're doing.
Right.
So if you're sitting around thinking, that means you should be doing some action.
Right.
So that's your fault. So then the overcompensation comes for blaming somebody else for the reasons why you don't want to move.
That's ill.
You understand what I'm saying?
I feel that.
The win should be when you have won by your standard, by not someone else's. Because people are generally like insecure, and people generally look the other way. They do things that are illogical, and they all have their own set of problems. So everyone considers a win different. So why would I consider my win something that makes you happy? I'm gonna consider my win something that makes me and my family and my kids and my girl happy. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to look like I'm rich to make you happy. I need to be rich.
Right.
So guys think they're rich because they might have monetary, like very, very like temporary money that they could take care of themselves.
Right.
But that's not rich. Rich is being able to take care of your kids.
Right.
Being able to make it where your generation or the generation after you doesn't have to go through the same problems as you did.
Ever watch a James Bond movie where it doesn't look like he's losing at some point and then he wins? Or Batman or Iron Man or any superhero? There has to be some diversity for you to, overcome to win. You can't be a champ unless you, are in a place where you look like you're going to lose and then you win. The pain that's going to come with being independent, you have to embrace it because it's going to happen. And also know that the more successful you get, the more problems you're going to have, the more knots you're going to have to untie. Being a boss does not mean smooth sailing. It means having the ability to care about other people before yourself and to untie problems, untie knots. That's all it is. It's not business if there's not problems. There's nothing good without struggle. It just doesn't happen. In all my experiences, there hasn't been one thing that's been successful without me feeling some pain before it was successful. So now when there is pain, I embrace it.
It should never be one nigga the head of a crew. Because if that nigga ever goes, if he ever goes to jail, or God forbid he gets killed, or something happens, the whole crew goes down. Because everybody depends on one nigga. You over. But let's say you're equal, and you're equal. If let's say you fall off, he can give you a little, your man can give you a little, and it's not going to break you to put your man back on. You can't run no company without no fucking crew, man. And what better fucking crew to have than the niggas you grew up with? You should depend on him like he depends on you, and y'all should all depend on each other. But that it has to be bigger than just Clue. Desert Storm should mean more than Clue. When niggas think of Rockefeller, it's not only Jay-Z they think about. It's not only me they think about. They think of a whole movement and what we represent. Because niggas know that since we got in the game, every nigga down with me had money. If every nigga has just as much as you got, what kind of crew you got? You got a crew that can't be touched. Yo, that's how crews crumble because they don't feel they getting a piece. Every nigga I know that was getting money, their own crew took them down. They the niggas that set they niggas up.
Over the years that, you know, with anything, you have to be patient. Not 5 years patient or 5 months patient. You know, you could be 10 years patient if you want to. You know, empires aren't built overnight. You know what I mean? Like I always tell everybody, the Great Wall was a 2,000-year-old plan. 2,000. You know how many lifetimes that is of one plan? You know, and getting people to kind of, you know, do the same, have the same exact agenda for lifetimes, for generations. It's crazy. So, you know, you have to be patient when you want to do something significant, no matter what. And a lot of time that means, you know, not reaping the benefits of something immediately.
Yeah.
You have to realize that we're the boss, and that like my son already has a company. My son already sells his own socks.
There you go. Yep.
Baby Dusko. He's never going to know life without having his own company. It's going to be his normal.
Right.
So, you know, it's our patterns and what we're programmed to believe is normal, what we accept. So, yeah, it should not be normal to not have your own business.
Where can people purchase those socks?
To do by people. It should not be normal to be always trying to just survive.
Right.
Because it's hard to play chess when you're always playing checkers to eat and breathe.
I'm not in that business. See, we in two different vibrations. I'm not in the soldier business. I'm in the general business. I'm not in the slave mentality business. I'm in the master mentality business. We playing two different games. When I look at something, I don't say, yo, how do I buy it? I say, how do I make it? You feel me? When I look at, I'm gonna make a TV show, I gotta have a network. I'm not making a record. I gotta have I don't look at things in that variation. I can't. I never have. I don't look at nickels. I only look at weight. I can't see nickels. It's just a pride you should have in ownership.
So how do you get to that platform? How do you get to the platform?
By putting your own money up and investing in yourself. That's it. You flip. And getting a good woman and stop trusting dudes and stop worrying about other people's pockets and what other people have and what other people can do for you. And 9 to 5s aren't good because you hustling for a weekend. But when you do something that's for yourself and your family, it never feels like work. I hustle for my last name. I don't hustle for my first. And I want us to be tasteful.
Right.
I want us to be evolved.
Right.
I want us to deal with things like men, not emotion.
Right.
I want us to really be rich, not look rich. I want us to be friends. I want us to stick together. I want us to take care of our kids. I want us to take care of our women. I want that to be. Everybody's depressed because they're trying to fit into a puzzle. They're trying to be a fucking circle in a square. And you're told what to do, and you're told what to eat, and you're told what's good and bad, and what the perspective of success is. Success is love. Success is your family. Success is how much you laugh. I don't care how much money you got in the bank. If you got a crooked smile, if your people around you don't want to be around, your breath stinks and all that other shit, you're broke. Period. Right. You're broke. If you have nothing to fight for, you're broke. You have nothing to love, you're broke. It's a mentality. I want to have generations of this. What if your kids aren't as strong as you? What if your kids' kids aren't as strong as you? Then what?